Okay, we're gonna make a chocolate cake today, but this is not a how-to video because I've never made a chocolate cake. I don't know what I'm doing. And I'm making it eggless and dairy-free. And this is not an eggless, dairy-free recipe. So, flour, sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, salt, espresso powder, but I'm gonna use coffee, milk, vegetable oil. No, ma'am. No, ma'am. I'm gonna use a different type of oil. What are we gonna use? Probably grapeseed or coconut oil. And eggs, we're not going to use eggs. I'm just going to use applesauce. Applesauce is an egg substitution. Um, where are my notes? My note says add an extra half a tablespoon of baking powder to make your cake lighter when you add applesauce because applesauce causes density, but it is a binder. So we're going to use this in place of the egg. And this is also going to add moisture and boiling water. Oh, also, we broke our sifter. Judah broke the sifter. But fine, we broke the sifter. So I'm not gonna be able to sift my flour. And I'm using wheat flour. So it's gonna be a thick cake. Real thick. See, I got my workstation put together last night, so I was sure that I would get up and take care of business. So I have all my ingredients already together. They already up to no good. They already starting. Lord have mercy. This is 2 cups of sugar. I did not want to put 2 cups of sugar in there. I had talked to Judah about it because he's like, yeah, that's pretty standard. The amount of sugar in this cake. He was like, yeah, it's pretty standard. I figured he was gonna say that though.
It's pretty standard.
Yeah. For that. And then especially since it's chocolate. Because even when I'm making my hot chocolate, when I'm making my coffee and I add cocoa powder to it, I have to add an extra tablespoon of agave because it's so bitter. I don't care. I'm not putting a whole this isn't a whole 2 cups of sugar. It's close to that. I might throw some agave in there. They go to squirrels. I gave y'all grapes. Does he see it? I gotta give him some nuts. So you just taking the top off up and just playing with it for no reason? Okay. I just wonder. Maybe I should turn them down a little bit. Heavy rolling boy. I'm boiling cashews to make the frosting because I'm not making a butter sugar frosting. I'm making a coconut oil, agave nectar, cashew frosting. Flour, sugar, and we got our cocoa powder. 3/4 of a cup. I used to not understand what 3/4 of a cup was. You take 1/4 of a cup and you use it 3 times. Fourth of a cup, close to 2 tablespoons. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use 6 tablespoons because this is about really strong. It's got coffee in it too. Oh, look at the little. Hey, that is not for you. I gave y'all bread.
The cake got coffee in
it? Yeah. And hot water. You ever heard of a hot water cake? No, it's not a coffee cake. It's a chocolate cake. 2 teaspoons of baking powder.
What you making a cake for?
Because I want a cake. I've never heard of such a thing. Why are you making a cake? Girl, any day is a good day to have a cake. 2 teaspoons of baking powder. What day ain't good to have a cake? What you said? Girl, because I'm the type, I drink hot chocolate in the summertime.
That's not cute.
I can make anything cute. But no, I will eat cake even in the heat. No, just cake. 2 teaspoons of baking powder plus the extra half a teaspoon of baking powder because I'm using this applesauce. I always have to reread because sometimes I accidentally skip things. So I try to move very, very slow when I'm cooking or baking. 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda. 1.5 teaspoons. Short. 1 teaspoon of salt. Hey, little man, stop eating his nuts. 1 teaspoon of espresso powder. What is it? 1 teaspoon? Yeah, 1 teaspoon. That's not very much. 1 teaspoon. Okay. I think like cinnamon would be good. I'm gonna put a little bit of cinnamon in there. Did I tell you I made vegan mac and cheese yesterday? Went to pour chili powder in my sauce and it was cinnamon. Luckily, I had just chopped up some spinach and sat it on top of the sauce so I could just pick up that little section of spinach. Couldn't believe it. Okay, that's everything. Flour, sugar, cocoa powder, baking soda, salt, espresso powder. Okay, that's everything for our dry ingredients. It's already thick. I wish I would have had my sifter. Got a couple chunks in here. I think I might have had a tiny bit of water at the bottom of my bowl. I didn't put enough sugar in here. I'm just going to add agave nectar. I don't want to open another thing of sugar right now. All right, this is what we've got. This thing about to be so thick. It's crazy. Now we just got to get everything else. So tell me why I found out the other day this is not a Pyrex. I didn't find out. My son told me because we were talking about Pyrex. And I explained to him how I chipped this by accident by slamming it onto another Pyrex that is actually a real Pyrex. And he was like, I didn't even think that was possible. So he looked it up and he was like, it's not. So he went and looked at it. He was like, that's not a Pyrex. But my lovely neurodivergent son just kept saying it. He was like, yeah, that's not a Pyrex. Looked out the window. Was like, not a Pyrex. That's not a Pyrex. And I just wanted to choke that boy. But see, I'm learning to let things go because I'm not going to have my hormones messed up by all this cortisol being released in my body. I want to get rid of my stomach one day. One day. All right. So I'm boiling my cup of water. I need vanilla extract. I need my applesauce. Eggs. Okay, so that's the applesauce. And then my oil and my milk. I decided to use grapeseed oil. I just had that measuring cup. So we need 1 cup of milk. 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 Ah! 1 cup of milk. And she's got a lot of vanilla in here. 2 teaspoons. Okay, that's fine. 1 teaspoon. I'm about to use Judith Good vanilla. He don't really mind. He's a sweetheart. He just got a smart mouth. You know, Pisces with that passive aggressive stuff. Got our applesauce. Do you know this isn't a full cup? I'll show you. So the substitution is 1/4 of a cup. I was about to just throw both of them in here for real. That's what I'm gonna do with 1/4 a cup of applesauce. Give it the fire. So we got our eggs, our vanilla, our milk. Oh, we need 1/2 a cup. Do they mean half a liquid cup? I'm gonna assume they mean half a liquid cup. Dry measurements and wet measurements do not measure the same, guys. Tested it. All right, milk. oil, eggs, vanilla. All we're waiting for is a cup of our boiling water. Boom! We're almost done already. It says to add this to this and then beat it. Just beat it. If you like my apron, check out my Etsy store. ProjectFury.etsy.com. We've got unique gifts and apparel for everyone. Oh man, this is gonna have to get replaced. Look at that. Add milk, vegetable oil, make the beat on medium until well combined, reduce speed, and then carefully add the hawata, which is done. Oh, praise to the Most High. Let's measure this out. We only need 1 cup. I put more than a cup in here because, you know, it's going to evaporate when you boil it. I need a flat surface. Okay, that's 1 cup. Cashews are still boiling in the background. All right. Ooh, not too much. Not too much. It smells good already. Medium. Put her on medium. I don't want to overmix this cake batter. It's sweet. Is cake supposed to be real sweet? That is good. That is really good. Just one, because I didn't do a whole. I couldn't do 2 cups of sugar. I can't. There's only 2 cups of flour in here. All right, I'm gonna let this sit, and our oven's preheating to 350. I'm gonna make this in a cast iron skillet. This is actually for 2 10-inch cakes, but I'm hoping it'll fit in my 12-inch skillet. I'm hoping it'll fit in my Best thing I've ever bought. Best thing I've ever bought. Use it every day. Yeah, this will work. I hope. Hope it don't rise too much. No, y'all. How much do cakes rise? Because we got maybe what? Is that 1 inch? We only got room for 1 inch. We only got room for 1 inch. I don't know. What do you think? We should be okay, right? We gonna see. You think my kids would drink out of the cups I bought? No, of course not. Why drink out of a cup when you can drink out of a bowl? Exhibit A. This is what they do. Can be nowhere near that cat, but one thing she won't do is have some of her hair all over my face. Okay, it's time to make the icing now. The cashews are done. This is coconut oil. That's what we're gonna make the frosting out of. Now, this is refined coconut oil. It does not taste like coconut. Unrefined coconut oil tastes like coconut. So this is just gonna taste like butter. Unsalted butter, but I did put some salt on there. Right. So let's strain these. And then we're gonna use our Ninja. And I'm just eyeballing this. I have 2 cups of coconut oil, 2 cups of cashews, and we're going to use some vanilla, and then we're going to use some agave. And if it's too thick, which it won't be, I'll put the tiniest bit of almond milk in there, but it should be fine.
My producer be just pushing out beats like it's nothing, so.
Where he from?
Girl, I died. Why is he from Maryland? Lives in Maryland. And I'm like, ain't no way he made little songs back in the day. Let me find out.
I always gotta write something that's been sitting. Go spoon this.
I'm probably gonna go to Friday though, but I think that's live.
What he at the lodge for?
Some girl's birthday. How you know what the law?
She too grown.
It's overwork. I said overwork. Overwork.
That's fine. I feel that though. How you wanna go?
The milk makes it runny.
Up here, not they all married.
This is my first time using cashews for this. I usually use walnuts, and it is not looking too good.
But she was talking about
It's chunky. It's not smooth. That was an expensive. Yeah, this is not. Yeah, this is not gonna work. I'm gonna have to go boil some walnuts and redo this. It's okay. It's part of learning. So now we know that cashews are not good for making frosting. It's okay. Lesson learned. Charge it to the game. Everything I lose, I get back 10 times fold. Everything I lose, I get back 10 times fold. Everything I lose, I get back 10 times fold. Everything I lose, I get back 10 times fold. I am abundant. That cake smells good.
It's like, girl, she is on TV.
She looked like girl. Mom, look at this.
Hold on now.
This taking me out. But you want me to... Well, I guess you got it.
Okay. Girl.
But... Like
No,
what?
No, ma'am. That's
And it's on the Jennifer Hudson show.
Yeah, I don't want to see that. I don't know why people got their little kids on they shaking their behinds like that. Here's the cake.
She don't want to see that.
Let it cool. It looks super moist.
Little kids
I'm
doing
excited
all
to see what Judah thinks.
I'm confused on why Niecy Nash was up here.
Very cool.
What does Niecy Nash have anything to do with this vlog?
We're going to boil some more nuts and we'll be back
They
soon.
really are all
You did a good
weirdos.
job.
Like, I literally can't.
Put the cake in the fridge to cool off before we put the icing on it like the professionals do. I watch cake makers on YouTube and they put it in the freezer, but I didn't do that. I put it in the fridge. So I'm just waiting for these walnuts to boil so we can make our frosting. Should be about 15 more minutes. All right.
The same damn thing with Summer Walker. Like, why is it that you always got a new man? And then you break up with him? Girl, she ain't lose her man. Ain't no way she lost her man. She broke up with him.
Okay, so I put a little bit of salt, 2 more cups of coconut oil, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla in there. And this is 2 cups of walnuts.
Yeah, that is.
Oh, yeah, and I put agave nectar in there too, but I'm going to put more in there later. I added 1 tablespoon of almond milk. You can see I spilled a little bit right here because I was thinking about it. And I was like, well, besides the fact that every time I've made this before, I did add a little bit of milk to it. I don't want the coconut oil to solidify when it goes into the fridge. I just want this to get thicker, but I don't want it to be like solid because, you know, coconut oil, when you put it in the refrigerator, it gets hard. So this is what we have. I'm going to put it in the fridge so it can harden up. Let me taste it. Yeah, it needs more sweetness. I feel like it could use a little bit of cinnamon. And maybe a tiny bit more vanilla. I only used 1 teaspoon. Another teaspoon I think would be good. It's sweet, but I'm gonna make it a little sweeter since it is frosting. And the kids always say I don't make my frosting sweet enough. Now, usually I have to go back and add more coconut oil. I kind of wanted to see what would happen if I didn't add any milk at all. But this is the least amount that I've ever added, the 1 teaspoon. No, I added a tablespoon. All right, let's refrigerate this. I don't know what is going on with my frosting today. It keeps separating and it's never done that. And I keep feeling like it's the milk that's doing it. I'm gonna put a little bit of flour in there and see if I can get this to thicken up. I just don't know this about not to have any frosting. Because this is crazy. Let me review my notes. That just made it worse. The recipe is 1 cup of nuts, 1/4 a cup of almond milk or oat milk, 1/4 a cup of maple syrup, agave, or honey, 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of fresh lemon juice, and 1/2 teaspoon of sea salt. I used 2 cups, 2 full cups of oil, and I was supposed to use 2 tablespoons. Okay. I'm way too invested to quit now. 3rd time's a charm. I'm boiling another cup of nuts, and this time we're gonna follow the recipe. Dang. The reason I started my vegan journey was because my entire life I've always had an aversion to meat. I ate it because that's what was provided, but growing up, never liked it. And pork, totally just can't do it. So as I got older, I would do chicken breast, and then I went from chicken breast to fish, and then I went from fish to vegetables. I eat primarily vegetables, fruits, and starches. Drink a lot of water. I do a lot of lentils, a lot of nuts, a lot of seeds, a lot of berries. I just don't like meat. It never agreed with my system, and neither does dairy. I went for years with my stomach swelling. I would have these really noxious, I used to call them mouth farts, because I would burp and it would smell like I passed gas, and couldn't understand why. I would eat dairy and I would look like I was 6 months pregnant. And come to find out, I'm lactose intolerant. So I just got rid of all of it. Don't do eggs, don't do meat, don't do dairy. And my life has never been better. I don't feel heavy. I don't feel oily. I don't have a smell. Sometimes, depending on where you get your meat from, you will sweat a certain odor, especially when you eat red meat. It just, with the country that we live in and the quality of the meat, and then being a single mom, it's more cost effective. Now, my kids are definitely meat eaters, just like their dad. They love them some good old meat, and I let them eat the way they want to. So I'm the only vegan in my family, but they love my food. So I make the same things over and over again, but I make them in different ways. I pair them together. For example, I'll do lentil meat. It's lentils and walnuts, peppers, tomatoes, boil it, grind it together. You make patties. You can make little meatballs with them. You can make burgers with them. And I can pair that with my vegan mac and cheese or my tomato pumpkin sauce. And we do stir fries, even though I don't do a lot of rice. It makes me feel too full. I want to feel satiated, not heavy and too full. I just feel lighter. My skin's clearer, even though I have anxiety, so I have a lot of cortisol that gets released into my system when I'm stressed out. So I do break out, especially around my cycle. But I've just found that I feel lighter. My brain feels clearer. Meat makes me feel very bogged down. I feel like I have more of a short temper when I ate meat. I don't know. Don't do fast food. Don't do processed foods. We do peanut butter and like almond milk. Those are processed. But only because I don't know how to make them yet. But once I do, I'm going to. Thank you so much for the subscriber that asked me to explain why I started my vegan journey. I also have a pimple. One thing I do remember about this recipe, though, is that 1/4 a cup of milk was way too much. So I'm going to use way less than that, because every time I used 1/4 a cup of milk, I always had to go back and add more coconut oil. So instead of 2 tablespoons, I'm probably going to add 3. And instead of 1/4 a cup of milk, I'm going to add half of that. No. Half a teaspoon of sea salt. Half a teaspoon. 2 tablespoons of coconut oil, but we're going to do 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, don't tap that. I broke it last time. Let me not do that. a fourth a cup of maple syrup, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. This is I always skip the lemon juice. So I got my salt, my vanilla, the coconut oil. I just need the milk and the maple syrup. So a fourth a cup. And I'm not using a whole fourth cup. We're gonna use half. Okay. It's crazy how many times I've had to do this just because I didn't follow directions. Still not following directions. Like, still. Something's wrong with me. Hold up now, we might got something. Taste tested into the fridge. Tastes good, but it needs a little bit more sweetness. This is such a me thing to do. Now we get it right. But it's not enough for no daggone 12-inch cake. This is going to be a partially frosted cake. Lord, I'm tired of myself today. So what did you learn today, Fury? Well, brain, I learned 3 things. Number 1, even if you've been making a recipe your whole life, don't think that you're going to remember all the measurements, because you might not. Just check the recipe. Number 2, follow directions. Why don't you just look at the recipe and follow directions? Wait, did I say number 3? Number 3, right before you give up is right before you're about to be successful. Because I was ready to throw in the towel. But we did it. We did it, friend. Finally. Finally. This has worn me out to the point where I am beginning to malfunction. The only thing that fixes that is water. To the shower! Ugh, I feel a million times better. So this is the first time in a week that I have used a cleanser on my face. I use that turmeric bar because it has antibacterial properties and I have a pimple. And my face feels so clear. It didn't leave a film or anything. My face feels clean. Goodness gracious. It is time. I'm not messing with that icing no more. I don't care. What we got is what we got. Because I could thicken it up a little more. I'll put it in the freezer. And even when I'm big enough. But I'd rather cut on this and not the plastic. Dang, I still did it wrong. I wanted the plastic one, but well, whatever. And the cake just fell. So I flipped it, the inside went down. Well, it is what it is. And our struggle frosting. It's just don't have to be good enough. Because I'm not even going to try to thicken this up anymore. It'll get thick later. Or it won't. I don't give a dang. It usually does get thicker in the fridge, but this thing got a dip in the middle. I got to ask Judah how to prevent that. It was fine until I flipped it. It's a struggle cake. All the frosting is falling in the middle. Oh my word. Oh my goodness. All right, well, that's our chocolate cake. I'm gonna cut you a piece. They're gonna think this is a peanut butter frosting. I gotta ask Judah how to prevent the cake from falling. What you think? Is that me shaking? Goodness. It's a real cake. That's not pretty, but we did it. Very rich, though. I give you that. We struggled with that frosting, didn't we? We'll do better next time. I think the cashews will make a fine frosting. I just got the portions wrong. We'll do better next time. But as far as the cake, I feel like we did a good job, though. Yeah. We did it. Chocolate cake, vanilla walnut icing. I'd give it a 7. We're going to follow directions next time. I love you. Check out my music, The Fury of Abyss, all music streaming platforms worldwide. Check out projectfury.etsy.com for cool apparel and gifts. Check out my playlist for more great videos about home cooking, what to do and what not to do. Single parenting, mental health, and spirituality. I love you so much. Hello to all my new subscribers. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Fury World. What's up to my day ones? I appreciate you. I love you. And I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Peace. Subscribe if you like. Hit the like if you like me.